Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Thunder Today YouTube channel. I am your host, Dylan Hibbard, and in today's video, we're going to go over a lot of the Summer League action that went over the weekend. We'll dive into the game and how kind of the Thunder lost. We'll look over who stood out the most in the Thunder League, or not the Thunder, the Summer League to me, and kind of who might honestly earn some playtime minutes or contract minutes, but we'll dive more into that. We'll look into Barnheiser. He's one of those guys who I think could very well turn that two-way contract into a real contract and earn playing minutes at some point in this year. And then we'll talk about who, in fact, might get traded and if in case Barnheiser does earn that contract. But we'll first go back to Saturday. The Thunder lost in the semifinals of the Summer League 108-90 to the Charlotte Hornets. The Thunder didn't play Topic or Mitchell. The Hornets were playing Conkinipple, who was, I believe, number 4 in the draft. So having the 4th overall pick out there, the Hornets were looking really good, and the Thunder just weren't playing some of their guys that we saw throughout the beginning of their Summer League just because of, obviously, we feel like A.J. Mitchell's too good for it. Topic, they're probably just, they wanted him to get a few games under his belt. They don't want to risk anything, kind of like what most teams do with their higher draft picks or better prospects. They let them play a game or two, and then they'll have them stop for the rest of the summer and start building up to the season just because it's not worth to risk a major injury in Summer League. We've seen it happen in the past, and we just don't want that to happen again. And so that's why they stopped playing those two guys, and eventually the Thunder lost by 18 to the Hornets in the semifinals. But they did finish 4-1 in the Summer League and finished third. So, I mean, just the way they were able to not only win the title, but then a few weeks later have a whole realm of new guys just go out there and continue to show why the Thunder and Sam Presti with their draft picks are just going to continue to cycle and show just this new wave of how the NBA should be playing, and we'll see if we're able to keep it up. I mean, we'll see if any of these standout players are able to make minutes, because as we go into this next segment, I think there were big four that kind of stood out this Summer League. Obviously, A.J. Mitchell's number one. We've talked about him a lot. He averaged over 20. He looked like a guy who will legit have high playable minutes in this upcoming season. He looked like he was just ready to get out there, and I mean, it was great to see averaging over 20. He looks like he's going to be a key contributor to that bench unit, especially this next upcoming season. The bench needs a lot more scoring, guard help, and shooting. So if A.J. Mitchell is able to have a few games where he's out there and contributing like he did last year, he's just going to slide right into those playing minutes. So I think Mitchell, without a doubt, was the number one. And then obviously Topic, he was probably the biggest attraction for Thunder fans, and just kind of seeing what Topic is like, because we heard all about him this season not being able to play. We drafted him 12. He was supposed to be a top 5 pick, and he showed that he is still very young and that he has up and downs. He started off very well, and then he had a couple of games where he was downhill and he couldn't make a 3. He went 0 for 11 in a 2-game stretch. And then in his last game, he went back up a little bit. He scored 16. He had 8 assists, 6 rebounds. So we saw a lot of up and down from him, and I think for this next upcoming season, I wouldn't expect him to necessarily, now with A.J. Mitchell, how he's playing, I could see Topic really just maybe being a year away from actually making a big contribution to Thunder. And I could be wrong. He could slide right in there and just the Thunder could play 12 guys. I mean, they can, but I think from Topic's point of view, I think he's going to be one of those guys where if certain players are just kind of beat up or just tired and they want to get Topic more minutes, I think Topic could definitely get it. But I think it's not going to be as consistent as some of us were hoping, especially now that A.J. Mitchell, I mean, the Thunder have so many guards that could play. It's kind of hard because you have Shea, Dort, you have Caruso's technically a guard, you have Wallace, you have Joe, now you have Mitchell and Topic. 7 guards right there. All 7 guards are tremendous players is a problem, but I mean, you could Lou Dort could technically be classified as a forward, so could Caruso. Caruso plays a bit bigger, but still, you have 7 guards, so I mean, not all 7 are going to be able to play, which sucks because the Thunder and how they're built, I mean, all these guards are so good. So, I mean, it sucks that somebody's going to have to eventually not get minutes, and that's just how it goes. But, I mean, and then the other 2 players that stood out to me were Brooks Barnheiser, who we'll talk about here in a second, and then the last guy was Chris Youngblood, and a very cool name. Obviously, Youngblood was a great last name. He's an undrafted rookie the Thunder picked up. He averaged over 10 points in the summer league. He had a few big games, great on the defensive side, shot near 40% from the three-point line. So, I mean, that's something big to look at because the Thunder's biggest weakness even last year throughout the entire finals run was their shooting. And to now where Cam Johnson is on the Nuggets and there's no more shooters out there really that you're looking at, and Isaiah Joe's your best shooter. If Youngblood can earn his way on, maybe get to the end of that bench and continue to grow and get that shot into him, he could eventually maybe one day get that contract and just continuing. It just sounds like we're saying the same things every week because Presti's so smart in what he does with these young players and draft picks. It's like you want to be able to play every single one of these young guys because they look like if you give them the time, they're going to turn out to be very good role players. But the Thunder already have elite role players and already have, quote-unquote, a near-perfect team about as good as you can in today's league. So I think Youngblood has definitely earned himself at least a way into being one of those guys where, if knock on wood, there's certain stuff that happens with starters or bench players on throughout the season, guys like Topic, Barnheiser, and Youngblood could earn those ways into getting playing minutes and just continuing to play. And I mean, I think now we'll transition because I want to talk about Barnheiser a lot because he's kind of the main topic of today's video because I think he improved the most over the summer league. I think you going from a second round pick, you got drafted by a team who just won the championship, who's already so deep in talent, but you're able to go out there and look like a defensive specialist, which automatically gets the eyes of the Thunder coaches like Dagnall and all that because the Thunder live off of defense. And he averaged 3.5 steals over the summer league, and he was looking like a Caruso 2.0. So now the talks are Barnheiser has earned his way to a legit contract, and that would in turn make somebody have to lose a roster spot, whoever it might be. And the unfortunate part is the 2 players most likely that would have to leave in case Barnheiser earns that contract and the Thunder want to have him on the bench is Kenrich Williams and Ousmane Dieng. I think those are the 2 players that if Barnheiser were to earn his way onto the 13-man or 15-man, however, I don't remember how it is, but I think Ousmane Dieng and Kenrich, one of those 2 are the first one out. They're both making around that $7 million, so you're going to save a few million trading one of those. And I just think from Barnheiser's point of view, he looks like a guy who you're going to put on the bench, but when he gets out there, he's going to play tremendous defense. He looks like he could finish well. He was decently athletic, but just from a second-round viewpoint, I mean, he stood out. He did everything that the Thunder were looking for, and now they love that, but it puts them into another tough situation of, well, we want you, but we can't do it without giving somebody away. So that kind of gets me into my next point of the Ousmane Dieng trades heating up. And I think out of Williams and Dieng is most likely to get traded. He is younger, will have more years of control, can develop better, whereas Kenrich is 30 now. I think Kenrich is better than Ousmane Dieng, so I wouldn't mind trading Ousmane Dieng, but I think Kenrich is a bit more veteran, and I think the Thunder coaches would rather stick with Kenrich over Ousmane Dieng, and that brings you into, I think he'll be traded before the trade deadline in this season. I think no doubt about it. I think if there is a team that calls up the Thunder and they're like, we want Ousmane Dieng, I think the Thunder won't think second about it. That way they can get Barnheiser in there if they wanted to. And I just think Ousmane Dieng hasn't been able to get the consistent playing time that the Thunder were hoping, just because of certain guys making big leaps, free agent signings such as Caruso and Hartenstein. And then, I mean, you look at Ousmane Dieng, who's a forward, and, I mean, you have Jalen Williams ahead of you. You have guys like Chet technically plays a forward, Aaron Wiggins, guys like this who are ahead of you. And I think there's a few different teams that could benefit from an Ousmane Dieng. I think somebody who we haven't really thought about could want a young guy like this is the Boston Celtics. I think if the Celtics were willing to give up a couple picks or maybe another, I think they would just give up picks. I don't think the Thunder would want players in return. I think the Celtics would hop on that opportunity just to get more depth. I mean, now they're in a full retool, and I mean, we've seen what they've done this offseason. I could see the Celtics being a team like that who wants to go after an Ousmane Dieng, maybe a Milwaukee Bucks, somebody, not necessarily West, but I think it's best for a team out West who, or not out West, out East, who is in an weaker Eastern Conference. Go get a young guy who is big for his, I mean, he's a forward at 6'9", can really play. I mean, if you give him the time of day, I think he could be a good bench player for some of these teams out East. So, I mean, teams like the Celtics, the Bucks, the Pistons, those teams who are looking forward to contend this year without guys like Tatum and Halliburton, I think Ousmane Dieng would be a great piece for some of those Eastern Conference teams who are wanting a bit more depth, and I think Ousmane Dieng provides that, and I think the Thunder could benefit off of that and maybe get another couple picks or however that might turn out in Presti's way. But I mean, it's a lot to think about, and I mean, we'll kind of wrap up this video because I mean, we're just kind of talking about summer league stuff and how the rest of this offseason is going to go, because now with summer league done, now we're in the full swing of offseason things. We'll have a bunch of different stuff to talk about. We can do rankings, lists. Let me know down below what you guys want to do. We can do like controversial takes about the Thunder, stuff like that. But as we continue, I'll continue to give you guys update on all the summer league stuff if these young guys continue to get signed, all the rumors and all that. But that'll be it for me today, guys. I will see you in the next one. Peace.